Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today as always. We are moving up to 1,400 subscribers. Thank you very much. We are getting there. We're there. Let's speak as if we already have it. I'm a little bit winded because I was lifting weights this morning. It's so good to be working out again. I hurt my neck like a year ago. And I was actually got it healed up pretty good, and I was pressing on the, pushing the limit on my bench press, janked that sucker. So anyway, then I couldn't do anything for a while, so I started lifting again about 2 weeks ago, light weights. It's always hard to go back to lifting less than what you were, but hey, that's life. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Okay, today's topic is going to be no FAP. The reason I brought this up is because I had someone asking me what I thought about that. I'm not exactly sure, but I think no FAP is the act of masturbating and watching pornography at the same time. Or is it just masturbating and you don't have to have pornography? But I don't know. You can check it out. Whatever it is, I'm going to talk about it. Pornography is addicting. I have nothing against it. Yes, I've watched it before. It can be enjoyable. It's kind of like gambling though. I've gambled before, but I'm very cautious about it because it gives you a certain feeling, a certain energy. So I can understand how a person can get addicted to pornography and of course fapping also, and gambling, alcohol, drugs, whatever. I've had my addictions in life. Pornography wasn't one of them, but I understand gambling neither. But I understand how these things can become addicting because they give you a certain, well, they change the way you feel. And what I hear today is a lot of young men are growing up fapping and watching, if that's the correct way to say it, watching pornography. And then they can't even get an erection when they're with a real woman. That is, if they even decide to try to be with a real woman. Now, I was on a podcast last night, and there were 4 or 5 of us on there, and we're talking about that, how a lot of these young men aren't having sex 21, 22 years old because they're just opting out for fapping, watching pornography or OnlyFans or something like that. I think that the problem is they don't know the difference, because these guys were saying, well, how can they do that? They didn't really understand. Or maybe they did, but they acted like they weren't quite understanding about why these men did this, or these young men, or some teenage boys. Well, they don't know the difference. Myself and these men that I'm talking about from last night, we've all had women, we've all had plenty of women, and we know what it is to watch pornography and those types of things also. And there's no substitute for the real thing, baby. There's an old song, there ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. That's probably before your guys' time. But anyway, it's true. But if you don't know what the real thing's like, or maybe you had an experience or two with the real thing and it was uncomfortable for you, you didn't know what to do, and it didn't turn out to be something very pleasurable, but yet turned out to be something that you don't know if you can do, you're afraid you don't know how to do it. Maybe the girl didn't seem pleased, or you didn't seem pleased, or you were clumsy, or anything like that. It's much easier and more comfortable to sit in front of a screen and fantasize about some girl that's in front of you. And on OnlyFans, you can actually, I guess, you can meet them on cam somewhere. So, and you have that personal connection. But still, there's no substitute for being with a person in reality. It's just, there's no comparison. Myself, when I was young, we had what we called stag movies. That was what pornography is today. They would be on a film and a projector, but I always looked at it like this. If I can't touch them or be with them, it's like going to a strip club. I've been to a few, but if I can't be with those girls, I don't have any desire to tease myself. I don't mind being teased by a beautiful woman if I know that I'm going to end up being with her. So, but the fapping drains you. I mean, if you're sitting there watching pornography and fapping or masturbating, if that's not the correct term, fapping, masturbating 4 or 5 times a day, it's obvious that that's going to drain your energies. It's like taking hits of crack cocaine 4 or 5 times a day. Never done that either. Thought about it, but my friend told me to stay away from it, so I did. It was back in the day, many years. I haven't drank or did drugs for, over 29 years. I haven't drank for over 30 years. No drugs for over 29. quit drinking before I quit drugs. But the point is, that's going to drain you. That's obvious. It's common sense that if you sit there and watch porn, even once a day, or now once a week isn't going to drain you. It's like everything else. If you can moderate these things, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, vapes, sex, pornography, masturbation, all these things need to be kept in moderation. There's nothing wrong with you having pleasure as a man. But when pleasure becomes your point of seeking it before everything else, that's when it becomes a problem. When you put pleasure above your mission, your purpose, your God, your higher self, when you put that above everything, then it becomes a big problem. It drains you psychologically, emotionally, and physically. You constantly seek pleasure. There's a verse out of the Bible, and I'm not a religious guy, but there's some good stuff in there, good wisdom. He who seeks pleasure will suffer want. And I know that's true because I've experienced it, because I've sought pleasure. I'll give you an example. Maybe you're with a girl. Maybe you are, fapping is an example, sitting in front of porn and masturbating. You're seeking that pleasure. You're seeking that pleasure. You want to have a real woman, but you're settling for this. So that pleasure that you're seeking there is somewhat satisfying that, but it never will satisfy you completely. And they were talking last night about now they're coming out with some robot dolls, more or less. But it's the easier, softer way. And as humans, that's what we want to do. We always want the easier, softer way, which is apparent in our society today. We are so comfortable and made everything so easy. We can sit on the couch with our remote, and if we don't have to work, which many people don't have to, and we can order DoorDash. We don't even have to get up to change the TV channel. We do have to get up and go to the bathroom. They'll probably come out with something one day that you don't have to do that either. So it reminds me of a movie I saw with my kids long ago called WALL-E. All these people were on this ship. Some of you may know that movie. And I think that the earth had got contaminated, and they were all on there, and they were all so overweight. I don't think I can use that other word on YouTube. They were all so overweight that they would be riding around on these little carts like you see people in some of the stores. And if they fell off, these little machine minions would have to come and pick them up and put them back on the cart because they were sedentary. And we've become so sedentary. But that's not what I'm talking about today. That's a whole nother video. But if you're sitting in the house, fapping and watching porn, of course it's going to drain you, and you're not going to have any motivation to do anything else. Many, many great accomplishments throughout history were accomplished because of the desire of a man for a woman. And nations have been destroyed because of the desire of a man for a woman. This sex desire that you have as a man is a powerful force. You just need to learn to channel it into something constructive instead of destructive. Now, that's not to say that pleasure is destructive, but pleasure as a guiding force in your life will destroy your life. Take an example. Look at the people in the U.S., in the West. 70, I think someone said last night 80%. Well, let's say 70 to 80% of the people are overweight or obese because of the pleasure of eating. What's one I heard? Eat like you mean it. All these commercials on TV, billboards, just showing you this delicious food. It's just going to make you feel so good when you eat it. And people buy into that. And sure, it does taste good. You do feel good when you're eating it. But then look at the results in our society. Look at the health problems we're having today because of this overweight, obese society we have. See, that's one example of pleasure seeking. I won't tell you never want to eat for pleasure, because I do. But learn to take pleasure in the things that you eat that are good for you. When I eat, a lot of you guys, if you're a fast food eater, would probably have a hard time eating. But I can taste the flavor because I don't dull my senses with all the spices and sugars and things that they put in these fast foods. Fast food's okay once in a while. If you want to eat fast food, once a week or something, it's not going to kill you. But a steady diet of that crap will destroy your body. And that's part of you. You have to take care of that part. And back to the nofap, if you're masturbating every day or 3 or 4 times a day, that's taking away your sexual energy, which is very powerful. It's not, as a man, you need to direct that into something constructive, into your vision, to your purpose. And when you want to release, as they call it in the nofap community, it needs to be with someone, a woman, and you need to be giving to her. Because as you guys hear me talk about that, when you give, if you go in with the idea, the intention of giving to that woman, giving her sex, giving her pleasure, and of course you want pleasure too, and that's fine, okay, then with that you get back doubly. Now that's a tricky situation there because of the emotions involved. You don't want to get attached to that girl, and that's what happens to a lot of guys. It's happened to me. You have sex with that woman, and it is such a good feeling, if you're not all drugged out and drunk, that you want more of that. And another problem is that clouds your vision to see what kind of a girl she really is. You think about that sex, so you start overlooking the red flags. Very important to look through that cloud of lust and desire and those intense emotions that you get from having sex with her to what kind of person she really is. Is she good for you? Is she going to help you move towards your goals, your vision, your purpose in life? Or is she going to be an anchor? Is she going to be a sail or an anchor? So I guarantee you that masturbating and watching porn every day is an anchor for you. But a woman could be the same thing, even a more detrimental anchor. If you get tied up with her emotionally and she's not the type of woman that is going to propel you towards your vision and your purpose. So yeah, nofap is a good idea. That's not to say you can never masturbate again or have sex or anything like that. I used to do it when I boxed professionally. I would have no sex, no masturbation, no anything 30 days before the fight. Here a while back, I went through a period of voluntary celibacy for 2 years and 2 or 3 months, something like that. I did that because I wanted to focus on my business, my purpose. And since I've been 13 or 14, I've been masturbating or having sex my whole damn life, okay? I was never one of these 2 or 3 times a day guys, you know, maybe once a week, or sex-wise, maybe more than that. But the masturbation thing was okay, but I never got into it a lot. We used to make a joke, says, you ever get caught masturbating? The guy says, no. Well, you got a good hiding place, don't you? That was a joke we used when we were kids. So, but these things, everything in moderation is so important. Everything, even trying to make money, working. Some people tell you got to grind 16 hours a day. Well, I work probably 16 hours a day, but I don't consider it a grind. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy sharing my life with you, men, and if there's women out there, so you can have a better life. Because when I was younger, I had no one to tell me anything like this. Maybe they tried, but I didn't listen. I'm not sure. But you're here because you want to be here. And I'm here because I want to be here. So if you didn't want to learn, you wouldn't be here. And I appreciate that you are here. I got to go to work. That's all I got for today. It's the 4th of July, but I like to work. So I would rather do that than sit around. Tonight we'll probably go see some fireworks. Maybe take the kids to Hannibal, Missouri. That's the home of Mark Twain, the famous author. Anyway, if you'd like to get my help personally, marksinspiration.com is my website, or you can check out the email in the description. I have a couple books on Amazon, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels, and The Power Is Within by Mark Daniels. And check out Alfie Kingdom on YouTube, or no, Amazon. Well, he's on YouTube too. He's written 21 books. 1 or 2 of them was a bestseller. He's a great guy, great author. I'm reading one of his books now. I think it's Conversations with the Soul. I think I got it right this time. Anyway, check him out on Amazon. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Take care.